Well, hello there and welcome to this trip report. So today we'll be flying on Lufthansa 747 to Frankfurt. I was really excited to get a chance to fly on this route, but right now I'm hungry. But here's a disclaimer. The food at JFK, not good, and I'm about to rip this restaurant. Check this out. So I stopped here at Soy and Sake, and I thought to myself, you really can't mess up teriyaki, right? Well, this was a waste of $22. And we're here in New York. You know, I had some pretty high expectations for this teriyaki bowl. I love teriyaki bowl, but this one, it missed. And then look at this, 1.7 stars on Google. You can't make this stuff up. And here we have our 747-400 Delta Alpha Bravo Victor uniform. And at 25 years old, her fate was very uncertain during the pandemic. And Lufthansa claims that these airplanes will be removed from service sometime in 2026. But as we've seen in the pandemic, things move very quickly, so this was a now or never trip. But enough about that, because it's almost time to go. Let's go ahead and get on board. Thank you. Thanks. And this dude on the right, he clearly could not leave the United States fast enough.
Can we call somebody? Gentleman got his iPad or his computer, laptop at the gate. Yeah? Let's check.
You are sitting on your side. Or someone laptop.
Hi there, 37A. Thank you. And I will say, this is my first flight on a 747. I've seen plenty of them in my time, but I've not been on one that isn't just a museum piece. So it's really nice to actually see one functioning with a crew, and who better than Lufthansa? You know me, I love to sit behind the wing. So here today we'll be at 37A for our 7-hour flight over the pond. And in typical German fashion, boarding was completely organized and very quick. Before you knew it, it was time to push back. And with our flaps set and a quick flight control check, we are ready to go. You know, and one of the benefits of flying out of New York is you see airlines that you just wouldn't see anywhere else, especially clustered together like this. I mean, you've got Swiss, you've got Royal Jordanian, and ITA all in the same frame here. And yeah, JFK Airport's not a great experience as a passenger, but who cares? If you're a plane spotter, this is your paradise. And with that, we're going to be making a pretty quick taxi by JFK standards. We'll be departing towards the east, so you'll get a great view of Queens all the way over to Manhattan. And I mean, it was just an absolutely gorgeous day for flying today. You couldn't pick a better day. And after just a few minutes, it was our time to go. And I mean, we got a picture-perfect view of JFK. The iconic tower, all the aircraft there. I just could not pick a better day to travel. And one thing I loved off the jump with Lufthansa was the announcements are both in English and German. Obviously, it's a German airline, so they will have German crews. They will have German passengers. So a lot of people speak German on this flight. But it really gets you in that spirit that we are flying to Europe, we're flying to Germany, and you're going to get that authentic German experience on this flight. And shortly after that, we take our turn towards the Atlantic Ocean, and you kind of get that surreal feeling like, wow, we're actually leaving the United States, we're leaving America, we're going to another continent, we're going to another country, another culture, and there's no going back at this point. And straight away, without fail, after 10,000 feet, the crew immediately starts passing out snacks. And of course, you can't have snacks without a little wine. And with Lufthansa, you get an alcoholic beverage for free. And that's not to say that you won't get an alcoholic beverage on Delta or United or someone else, but I'm just saying it's a nice touch. And the crew wasted no time in serving the pre-ordered meals. And quickly after that, our dinner was served. We had a shepherd's pie, which was absolutely delicious. It totally beat out that teriyaki bowl at JFK. And did you see that metal cutlery? Yes, even in economy. And of course, at every seat, you've got a personal TV, and it was loaded with tons of content. And as soon as dinner was done, they came quickly around with a tea and coffee service. Of course, I went with the tea. And as soon as the coffee tea service was completed, passengers were starting to settle in for the remainder of the flight. It was moving very quickly at this point. We just had about 4 hours to go. We had just left the coast of Canada, and still the sun was out. It was amazing how long the sun stayed out. It really didn't go down the rest of the flight. And the sun seemed to set forever. If you've ever flown eastbound, you know that the sun goes down very quick when you're traveling eastbound. But this time, just because of where we were on the Earth, the sunset took forever. And I was wondering to myself, is it ever going to go down? So So I thought maybe listening to some sleep sounds would help me to just nod off real quick.
Wenn Sie ausgebildeter Mediziner sind, bitte melden Sie sich beim Kabinenpersonal. We kindly ask any medical assistant, medical doctor, please contact immediately the personnel. Thank you.
So I really have to tell you what happened at this point. I did not record more of that footage just to keep the passenger anonymous. I mean, it was bad. So they had a passenger laid out in the galley right behind me. And this all happened right behind me. And so I don't know exactly what happened to the poor passenger that got sick, but whatever it was, he remained in the galley the rest of the flight. And they had him kind of laid out on the floor. So we as passengers were thinking, okay, well, we're out here by, Greenland. Are we going to land? Are we going to return towards Canada, maybe go back into Halifax, or are we going to continue on to Frankfurt? Well, we didn't really know, and we didn't really get any information until we passed Greenland and we're already past Iceland. So it's been about an hour beyond when the initial incident happened. So what ended up happening is the crew just decided they were going to continue to Frankfurt. So things eventually did calm down in the cabin, or so it seemed. The lights turned back off and people tried to resume their sleep. It seemed like things were going fine with the passenger in the galley. And shortly after this, breakfast was served. So we also thought, well, the issue must be resolved with the passenger since we've gotten served breakfast. The crew is very attentive at this point, and it was delicious on top of that. But again, the crew was called back to the galley, and something else had happened with the passenger. So after this, the cabin was cleaned up and the flight attendants prepared us for landing, as they were trying to shave off any extra time that they could to getting us to Frankfurt. And of course, by this point, we had just passed over England, we were almost to France, and we don't have much time left on this flight, but they really were trying to move things along as fast as they could. And like that, the sun started coming up and we had already started our descent into Frankfurt. Came out of the clouds, and here it was, Germany. We were just minutes away from Frankfurt. As you can see, we are just hauling into Frankfurt. Here we are just on the downwind of Frankfurt Airport. We're going to quickly loop back around and touch down.
verstecken. Ladies and gentlemen, you just realized that we had a very short landing. This is because we have a medical procedure going on, and I would like to ask you to stay on your seat until the medical doctors have been on board, and then we can resume the disembarkation. Thank you for your understanding.
Cabin crew orders embark.
Bye-bye. Take care. And just like any journey, this one had to end too. As the plane pulled into the gate, the paramedics and medical staff came on board, the passenger was taken off, and then we were allowed to be deplaned out shortly after that. And here we say Auf Wiedersehen to our beautiful Boeing 747. And we say hello to Frankfurt. And to make a long spiel short, I mean, Lufthansa is a great airline. I could not have been happier with the way that they not only cared for the sick passenger, but they took care of the rest of us as well. And they had excellent food, excellent care, and we were all just very well taken care of. And even though Lufthansa is not probably going to be the cheapest option across the Atlantic, I'm definitely a firm believer that you will get what you pay for. So thanks for watching, and please let me know in the comments what you liked, what you didn't like, as this is my first trip report.